tapos ang gagawin ko is
Titry mo
because
na
it's
lang.
recorded, I'm going to edit if in case na magkamali tayo or whatnot. Hello everyone, welcome back to Sashes&Scripts. This is Jacqueline Cappuccino and you are watching our very special YouTube video with a very special friend. He is Marc Sobhrajani. He is one of our dearest friends in pageantry way back in 2015, 2016, where we first guested with CNN for the Miss Universe pageant that was held here in the Philippines. He is also a pageant enthusiast, aficionado like us, and we have been, friends for the longest time, talking about different multitudes of topics and issues in pageantry. So let's welcome him in our channel
Yes.
and for today's video. Hi, Marc.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jenson. Hi, good afternoon to all your subscribers and your viewers. Yes, it's such an amazing feeling to finally talk about pageant musings on a content like this. This is actually the first time I'll be doing this. And yes, Jason was right. We met in 2015 when I was working for CNN Philippines still. And officially, we worked together on Winning the Crown. It's a content that CNN Philippines run for the Miss Universe pageant in 2016, which was held in the Philippines. I was the producer and I did two contents, the daily shows na nakita ng ilan sa mga pageant fans. I remember the OBB, alam nyo yun. Then we also have a live show hosted by Miss Pinky Webb. Jason is part of the panel along with respected names in pageantry, Tito Norman Tino, Bobby Riquintina, Manila Bulletin, and so many other figures. So now we're here to bring in the discussion to a more democratic level. Pero iba, no? Iba ang discourse natin because we truly love history as much as we love the present. And I think for us to understand where we are today, we need to look back in the past.
Yes, and what we're going to do for the video is that we are going to be talking about the 90s queens. This
90s.
is one of the most, for us, formative years in pageantry because dito kami unang namulat, dito kami unang naingganyong sumubaybay sa mundo ng pageantry. And what we love about the 90s queens is that you cannot pick one queen na ito ang standard ng what is intelligent and beautiful, but rather you have a lot of different types of beauties along the 10 years of the 90s na mapagpipilian ka. And we're not gonna talk about Filipino queens muna. We're going to talk about international queens for this
international
video.
queens.
We're going to reserve the Pinay beauties for another segment
episode.
or another video later. So yes. And what we did is that Marc and I, we listed mga beauty queens na sa tingin namin, 5 beauty queens na sa tingin namin na nagmarka in the 1990s. And we're going to explain why and we're going to tell you sino-sino ang mga ito. And of course, because there's a lot of really interesting na queens during that time, medyo lumagpas yung listahan namin ng mga interesante beauty queens, di ba?
Oo, because the 90s is a year of beautiful pageant season. You know what? It's very difficult to be a queen in the 90s. Iba po ang standard noon. For you to be regarded as a beauty queen, you are as good as the ambassador, diplomatic ambassadress of your country to the competition. And the way you speak, the way you talk, talagang ano yon, di ba? Measured, calculated, and the image is highly respected. And so, ang hirap, dahil napakarami na nila noon, ang dami-daming girls who actually left their mark. And we have bubbling ups and finalists, yes.
Yes, and the 90s, I believe, is the years where brains and beauty their stage.
Balance.
Right? There's balance.
Yes,
There's a perfect balance between being able to speak, being able to communicate, and being able to really captivate an audience physically. So there is
wala pang social media, no? Ang hirap.
Wala pang social media, yes. and during that time, makikita mo how wise they speak, how deep they speak, or how they show wisdom even at a young age. Yung mga candidates na sumasali in
Yes.
the 90s that you will see, you have like 19 years old, 18 years old na
18 years
nananalo.
old na nananalo. Totoo yan. And the message that they um, convey is a message that runs deep through this very day. I mean, it's a standard to ask somebody what is the essence of being a woman or di ba, why? Di ba? Ang dami-daming tanong. So, ang dami-dami ring na-impluensyahang young girls in the 90s who became household names in the 2000s. A lot of Filipina queens are among them. So, napaka-importante that we understand what sets the 90s apart and what certain trends that these girls have and started still being carried through this very day. Diba? Ang dami-daming kinokonsidera yon, wants to be like them still and emulate the legacy that they left in pageantry.
Okay, so I will ask you, umpisahan na natin. Bago tayo lumaktaw doon sa top 5 na listahan natin, who were the girls that made it into your list but didn't make it in your top 5?
Well, ako just a caveat. For sure, some of these lists are probably in yours, but my main list is filled with girls who actually are very much significant, pero hindi nakoronahan or hindi sobrang big names. But to me, some girls na medyo within the lines are Miss Aruba 1996, Tamarin Mansell. She's very statuesque. She's pretty. She's nice. I had Brenda Liz Lopez, Miss Puerto Rico 1999, which is photogenic. Para sa akin, she became the standard Miss Puerto Rico. I mean, to me, that's her face. We had Miss Colombia 1998, Paula Barbara Ortiz. She was really, really clean, crisp. You know, the Venezuelan the Latina look, no?
Yeah. 1998. It's her name is Silvia Fernanda Ortiz.
Silvia Fernando Ortiz. I'm sorry. I've mixed up names. Yun. Silvia Fernando Ortiz. Sobrang iba. I think that was a time that even girls in other pageants, such as Miss USA, are going after the look, gunning. The gowns are being copied way before recycling was done. So I'm gonna tell you this, nangyari yan. Again from 1998, Joyce Giraud. She became a big household name in world of entertainment. Became a Real Housewives cast after her reign. Gown is memorable. Some of the girls in 90s actually they duplicated that. So di ba ang galing, another Puerto Rican, because a lot 1990s is battle between three countries predominantly. It's Puerto Rico, India, and Venezuela, and that's really, really nice. I think last on my list, I really like her elegance. She exudes that. It's a battle between Marina Bincomo and Miss Italy 1994, only because there's a change. The dramatic evening gowns that they wore was so ahead of their time. I mean, you have Marina Bincomo in a very, very classy, crisp, baby pink gown, rumored to be Carolina Herrera, and you have, of course, Miss Italy, which reminded me of recent Gabi Bassiano gown. You know, her gown at the time was so avant-garde. It was so out there, and it's something that has to be celebrated and be taken note of. So that's it. That's my bubbling up. How about you?
For me, I would have to mention several Venezuelan and Indian names. Kasi for me, 90s was really the battle between and very spiritual, very wise beauties of India. Of course, hindi mawawala sa listahan ko yung si Manpreet Brar. She was for me one of the most well-spoken Indian queens, right?
One of the smartest.
And we have to pay homage then with the Indian women who came before her.
Yes,
like
Indian here, by the way. Half Indian na Filipino, so powerhouse tayo. Joke.
Yeah, and very well, very well deserved so, because we had Namarata Shirotkar who might not have won in the Miss Universe. She was among the top 6, pero when she moved to Miss Asia Pacific, she was a runner-up, right? She was a runner-up, I think, first runner-up of Michelle Aldana in Miss Asia Pacific that year. You also have Sadia Chip, who for me was
Yes,
like gorgeous, gorgeous
gorgeous.
face,
Her
gorgeous
movement in the
face.
swimsuit competition in '96 was like good. I mean,
Exactly,
it's so good,
exactly.
memorable.
And we
But
also have Nafisa Joseph. And we cannot,
sadly,
sadly, yes, she passed away.
mm,
And then we also have one of my favorite Miss World winners of Libya, Diana Hayden, who was like for me, she stole the competition in Seychelles in Miss World 1997. So those queens, hindi mo pwedeng hindi mabanggit because they did so much in the pageantry. And of course, Sushmita Sen din naman, who we
yeah,
all know, is one of the most loved Miss Universe na winners by Filipino fans. On the
she was
Venezuelan
it.
side, on the on the Venezuelan side naman, I would have to say Carolina Iszak, who is one of the most beautiful Miss Venezuela winners. In 1992,
Face.
I think she should have
It's
made
the
top three.
face. Diba? She's tall, she's doll-like, she's facially beautiful, she's strong. I mean, it's head-on collision with Michelle McLean and Paula Barbara Turbay. So parang 1992 is an exciting year as well. The first
Yeah.
battle in Bangkok, which,
Yes.
the recent battle in Bangkok is another glorious moment as well.
Yes. And I also wanted to mention Verusca Tatiana Ramirez, who was like the body in Miss Universe in 1998. And you know
She
what?
was fierce.
She was fierce. And she had a very Cinderella story that she was abandoned as a child sa orphanage. She grew up in the orphanage. She used to clean, houses for a living. And then for one weird reason, destiny allowed her to cross paths with Marina Bencomo, who encouraged her to join Miss Venezuela. And then, boom, she became Miss Venezuela. And then,
Successor, right? Very,
successor,
very,
right?
very
So, and
it's a very
also, I would
princess story.
very, very, very much the Cinderella story. And then also I would want to mention oh my god, I'm suddenly forgetting the name. Sorry, Consuelo Adler, who was Miss International in 1997, and her successor, Daniela Cosan Monfort, who I believe na in those days, in the 90s, if you win Miss International, you're basically guaranteed a top five position. In most cases, kasi with the Miss International na pageant, if you win Miss International, you are most likely to be crowned Miss International. Kaya inaabangan
Yes.
parati ng mga
Totoo.
pageant fans like us na who wins Miss International because yung kinakailangan, she's fast-tracked on the list, on top of the list. And Consuelo won Miss Photogenic. Daniela was also Miss Photogenic, so we were hoping na baka magkaroon ng the first back-to-back wins sa Miss International, which never happened, never materialized. Anyway, so ayun, marami bang ibang mga girls who are on the list, but those are the ones that really stood out in my list.
Yes. Ako, feeling ko, isa pang habol, no? Hindi man siya beyond top 5 madaya na. But I also find Lola Odusaga of Finland in 1995. I mean, it's the first time we saw an Afro-European queen, and the last time I think Finland made it that high in competition to have a representation, which actually set the footprint for other European countries to send biracial girls of African Latina descent, right? One of them I'll be talking about later. Another one, Sweden in 2002, I think. So we saw a lot of it. Nowadays, she actually laid out the platform for the likes of Whitney Toy-Loy in Switzerland in 2009 to be there, Chloe Morto de France to be there as well. So it's really, really important that somebody breaks the glass ceiling for them. And
Yes.
Lola actually did that.
Yes. So let's go on to the list.
Main list.
You want to go first?
Sige. Yes. Okay. So bilang nabanggit ko naman biracial girls, of course, number 5 on my list is actually a very interesting queen. She's Denny Mendez, Miss Italy 1997 in Miss Universe. She was actually semi-finalist. One of the girls who actually scored really, really, really high, but failed to make it to top 3, but still made it significant. A black girl wearing a European sash is so unlikely in the 90s. It's really, really crazy if you happen to win that. Today, it's well celebrated. Back in the day, it's well frowned upon, and that's what happened to her. Um, she was from Dominican Republic, so Afro-Latina, who migrated to Miss Italy, who had the title of Miss Italia nel Mondo, which is actually an Italian pageant celebrating Italian women from across the world. And when she got the title of Miss Italy 1997, there was a public backlash because, I mean, racial point of view. I'm not saying that everybody's racist, but of course, at that time, I think Italian society is not yet ready to have an Afro-Latina girl representing them. So
Yeah.
there were a lot of calls, there was a lot of controversy happened, but I think one of the best things that Miss Italy organization ever did was stood their ground and center there. One of the best catwalks I've ever seen. Swimsuit, evening gown, one of the best. Styling on point to this very day. If you send her, she will quash the competition. She'll still be very high on the list. Anytime, any day. So yeah, she made my cut. She's really, really good. Very, very good.
Yeah, and I remember Denny Mendez being one of those really statuesque girls in the Miss Universe
Oo.
competition, you know, and
I mean, the hand on
the
the waist.
black
Siya
dress
yun
that
eh.
she wore for the fine Miss Universe finals, grabe ang impact. And she had
Yung
those,
impact, no? Sleek, svelte,
yes,
statuesque, talagang it folder,
and
tas the hair.
oo, and yung ang maganda sa kanya yung facial transitions ng mukha from smiling
Mm-mm.
to fierce
Fierce.
to pout, 'di ba? Parang it was
Totoo.
done smoothly from one expression to another.
To another. Talaga,
Yeah.
totoo. She started that. Parang, it took a lot of people aback because it's something that you don't really do other than the typical smile, sweet, and
Yeah.
hers is like she's fierce, she's so sweet, then she goes fierce back again, and that catapulted her to a supermodel fashion career in Europe and the Americas. So she got success without a crown. Her life is a crown, and she's well respected and well celebrated up to this very day, and that's the most important.
Yeah. On fifth, on my list naman, number five is of course everybody's favorite, Aishwarya Rai. I mean, you cannot talk
Oh,
about
yes, girl.
the 90s without not talking about Aishwarya. And she is,
Aishwarya.
for me, the most beautiful Miss World winner ever, bar none, up to this point, up to this, to this 2021 na year. Tingin ko, siya yung super perfect, yung face, yung attitude, and the way she carried on her legacy as Miss World after her reign. Kakaiba yung impact because she's the only one who was
Iba,
able
iba
to,
talaga.
'di ba? Siya lang yung nakapag tawag nito, nakapag-transition from beauty queen and then still take those charitable works into her work as an actress, to any endorser, to, like the most beautiful woman in the world na title. And ang maganda doon, binigyan siya ng award ng Miss World organization for her contribution to humanity because she has
Yeah,
been
she's like Miss World
very,
forever.
very
Ganun yung
right, right. And hindi mo matatawaran yung contributions niya to pageantry because anything she says or she does it with a very, very unspoken class and elegance and the way she talks, parang you are mesmerized that you should always listen to her. Na kahit na isang oras siyang nagsasalita,
exactly.
you will be like glued to your seats for every word that she's uttering because that's the way how magnetic I believe yung mga winners ng 90s that are able to carry, deep conversations at a very young age. And I think she won Miss World when she was in her early 20s. So imagine how the depth of life experience that she is able to bring into the title at such a young age. So imagine that. Hindi mo if you're gonna look at mga candidates na sumasali ngayon and isali mo si Aishwarya during her early 20s, malalaman at malalaman pa din yung mga candidates ngayon because she brings so
You
much
cannot.
depth and
You
richness
cannot.
into the title, right? Na parang
Yes, and I
yung
think, iba
yung
no,
mga
parang she
yung
was
mga
crowned.
queens, walang
Oo,
makakapantay.
parang she was crowned to be legendary. Totoo, I
Yeah.
totally agree. She was crowned to be legendary from the get-go. Inaabangan na siya. She did not make my list because I kind of see her not as the beauty queen as she is. Eh. She became a public figure. She became a
Yeah.
pop icon. So I think iba.
Yeah.
Pageantry just led her the way towards that. But iba, imagine mo, she's now the queen of Bollywood. She's queen of Cannes, and she's
Yeah.
everywhere. Film, philanthropy, like you've said, she earned it, owned it, and she had it in the bag. So Aishwarya will always be and forever be the queen. She's far beyond
Yeah.
this world. She's a total woman that needs to be emulated and
And
respected.
we cannot say 90s beauty queen without taking her on the list. Parang she will always be on top of the list
She
for
is.
a lot of people who experience pageantry in the 90s.
Totoo, totoo. Iba talaga yon. I mean, the eyes. The eyes. In the very Indian um, setting, the deep set Indian eyes with the very blue eyes, the expression it gives you. I mean, if she talks to you and stares at you, it's like she's looking into your soul. Ashwarya is one of a kind. She's a force to reckon with in pageantry. So yes, deserve.
Yeah. And for
It's
me, I
really, really
think the only Indian pageant girl na pwedeng lumebel sa beauty niya is, Dia Mirza, who is like 1 year short, pasok sana sa 90s natin na conversation because she was crowned Miss Asia Pacific, Femina Miss India, Miss Asia Pacific in 2000. But those two girls for me are like the most beautiful Indian women that I've seen in pageants.
so good. Totoo yun.
Yeah.
So, India thumbs up for doing so good in the 90s. I just wish they can come back again and reclaim that glory, no? So, I mean, Adeline Castellino is a good start. So,
I think
we're
I think
hoping
they're
for their
I think they're coming back. It's they're finding their stride a little slower than we would have wanted to, but they're getting there.
they are. Definitely
Yeah,
are. They know where they know their place and they know how to claim it back again.
yeah. So who's your number four?
Number four is such a toss up. But I'm gonna give her to one of the legendary Venezuela queens who ever set foot in Manila, Minorka Mercado. She's this tall figure of woman that became a staple vision of what Miss Venezuela is. You know, tall, commanding, you stride really queenly, and you own the stage as you are. I mean, before the phenomena of a girl walking into the registration and fittings happened and became like a clue. You know, a lot of people would say when the moment they saw Megan in Bali, they know the game was over. The moment they saw, say, um, a Miss Universe Thompson to Oksana Fedorova land in Puerto Rico, they know that she's gonna take it. Now, before that happened, I think Minorca was that queen. Especially it was in Manila, the huge fanfare, well celebrated girl. To this very day, was well, I'd say copied or emulated, like I said, but never the exact same presence and stature that they ever did. Like I said earlier, I mentioned Joyce Giraud, who actually took inspiration from the dress she wore. So
Yeah,
ganun katindi yung legacy. I think the commentators in 1998 even took notice of that and did say, if it was Ali Landry, if not mistaken, that said, she saw the dress. It was worn by a Venezuela girl before, and that's Minorca.
yeah. And I think Minorca din naman kasi there was romantic presence to her that you cannot deny. And being 6 foot, 6'2" at that time, di ba? Parang hindi mo kinakailangan mag-heels and you're still head above, above everyone else in the competition.
Yes, the impact that they did. Ano, if India took hold of the 90s, Venezuelans also gave up a good fight in that year. So she's one of the torch bearers.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
how about
on
yours?
on my number four list is actually a European. She's not as popular as everyone else, from the 90s. But what I liked about her was that she competed. Her name is Lena Hansen. She was Froken Norge or Miss Norway in 1994, and she actually competed with Aishwarya in Miss World during that year. Unfortunately, she didn't place in Miss World, but she was then sent to Miss International, where her duty is basically the mold of who a Miss International is supposed to be. She's 5'8.5" tall. She's tall. So that advantage na yun. She's blonde. She has blue eyes. She has one of the most beautiful, pretty faces na tipong pag tinitignan mo yung mga molde ng mga winners of the Miss International competition, siya yung pinaka-swak in terms of the beautiful, porcelain doll na image. And for her to win Miss International, it was really like perfect because yun yung hinahanap talaga na organization that time. Taken in the 90s, if you're gonna look at the 90s, especially for the Miss International pageant, 6 of the winners there are Europeans. And yung apat doon, sunod-sunod na nanalo. If I'm not mistaken, it was 1994, 95, 96, all Europeans. And there was even a time when I believe one of our reps for Miss International, sinabi niya na ano kaya magpa-plant and mag-contact lens din ako ng blue eyes para mapansin siya ng award, di ba? It harkens it back to the fact that in the 90s, may molde na. So,
undeniably, there's a standard that organizations follow what they want the representation to become and how they want the brand to be seen. So,
Exactly. And that's why she's on the list because dito mo makikita na it's not, sometimes you need to have the right girl for the right pageant. Not necessarily the most winnable girl set mo sa Miss World or sa Miss Universe at mananalo ka. It's not like that. Sometimes you have to really look for what the international pageant is looking for para manalo ka. And this is one of those years na ang mga winners halos magkakaw pa. So pag pinagtabi-tabi mo sina Lena Hansen, si Consuelo Adler, and si Christina Leka ng Greece, parang iisa yung hilansa ng mukha na they are like cousins when it comes to facial beauty.
You mentioned 1994, so it's a practice, di ba, in the history of Miss International that some countries would send girls there first, or some girls who did not make it after Universe. Say, Dayanara. Imagine Dayanara did not make it international. That's the standard already, but she made big in Universe. Pero the fact that she was able to break it through, but she made semis, I think, it says a lot. Same with Milka Cholina, who did well in Universe 1980. But di ba kay Ana Len, hindi siya umubra. She just only went to top 15.
Yes.
I think Alma Concepcion made even better wave than her.
Because Milka, if I'm not mistaken, Milka didn't even make semis in Miss International, di ba?
She did top 15 only. She didn't get further. Yes.
Okay. So,
pero I mean, diba?
It makes sense that there are girls na swap for this pageant, but not necessarily the mold for this pageant, and that's what Lena represents. Because again, as you said, si Dayanara in 1992 semi-finalist lang sa Miss International, and then boom, a year later it's Universe. So, diba? It's finding the right girl for the right pageant.
You need to get the right girl for international. It's not just pwede na yung recycled beauty. You cannot do that. So I think international girls should also take high regard of the competition that they got themselves into, because it's not easy. It's a difficult pageant to compete in, and just simply being there making the cut says a lot about you and what you can do. So yeah, high respect to the international girls. And yeah, tama yun. 1994 to today, nothing has changed. So, pero you know what? Parang feeling ko mas entertaining lang yung presentation in the 90s ng international than today. Sobrang haba lang talaga. And Miss I, just fix your program, you're good.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so on to our number 3. Who's your number 3?
Oh, number 3. This is a woman that my mom used to talk about a lot when I was young. Talagang pag naririnig mo in the 1996-95 period yung song ni Prince na the most beautiful girl in the world, lagi niyang naiisip tong girl na to. So nung nagkaroon ako ng chance to hold on internet and Google and research about her, She always talks about a woman that's so tall with a black, big hair and fuchsia pink gown striding across the stage. And I guess people would know what I'm talking about. Jacqueline Aguilera, Venezuela, Miss World 1995. I think she really did made an impact. Alam mo, it's just because siguro na overshadow lang ni Aishwarya because she's coming after Aishwarya. But she's equally beautiful. She has the face to equally compete, the significance to actually made an impact. I think in Latin America, she was well revered. Um, Iba talaga din yung kanyang communication skills and the way she standpoint. She also did philanthropic work and she actually gave back to the girls in Venezuela by putting up her own beauty school and perpetuate the legacy of the organization. She's now part of the trifecta that runs MBO as the Miss World leading organizer. So she really is another force, another level, and you cannot deny that. The elegance she floored in India. In India, a very competitive country, diba? And being able to do that. Was I right? It's set in India or South Africa, I think.
South
The
Africa.
pageant in 1995. I think South Africa, Sun
South
City pa
Africa,
rin, no?
yes.
1996 yung yung India.
Yung isa
Yes.
sa India ang post yan.
Oo, mismo India yung nag-host. So 1995 is a year also of a revolution in pageant. No, this is the year where some organizations are changing guards and Miss World has to stay strong, get hold of that. And I think that time talaga well appreciated and well embraced on Miss World brand. And she's one of the girls why the pageant became so successful in the 90s as well. So yeah, Jacqueline Aguilera is very much there in pageant history. She's gonna remain as one of Osmel Sosa's most successful produced
Winners. Yeah.
the legacy.
On my list, at number 3 is a very not a very famous, but a famous actress, Hollywood actress, but did not win a national title in the 90s. And I'm talking about Kelly who was Miss Teen USA in 1985. She was actually the third, winner of the pageant. She's also the first Asian American winner of the Miss Teen USA. And she was Miss Hawaii USA in 1993. The thing that I like about Kelly is that she's actually Chinese, American, Filipina, and an additional
Multicultural.
other culture, other heritage, and when she competed kasi sa Miss USA, people were expecting that she will become the first Asian American Miss USA winner, which later on Brooke did win 4 years later. But si Kelly kasi, she was actually like during the prelims of the Miss USA pageant, she was actually number 2 in the preliminary competition. And the only girl who beat her in the preliminaries was actually the eventual winner later on, si Kenya Moore.
Kenya Moore.
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, Kenya
Nag-ano
Moore was...
rin siya, di ba? Real Housewives. I think she became an
Yes.
actress as well. Yes.
Yes.
Semi-finalist,
Yes.
1993 Miss
Yes.
Universe.
Yes. And Kenya was like the top scorer during the prelims. Tapos Kelly was second sa ranking. And then during the finals, I think because she was a bit nervous during the Q&A, she slid down to number 4 during the final, one of the top 6 na Q&A. And very crucial pa man din yung top 6 na yon because they will cut you from 6 to 3, and she was number 4. And ang liit nung margin, parang parang 200 of a point something lang yung difference. So ang laki nung yung kinasayang niya. But despite not winning Miss USA, she had a better career as an actress later on. So she became yung leading lady ni The Rock's the Scorpion King. Tapos napasok siya as Lady Yuriko sa X-Men na movie. So she had, marked herself in the industry, in the entertainment industry. And of course, marami din kasi na naging projects later on with soap operas. Sunset Beach is one of them, and then meron din siyang mga, di ba? Meron din siyang mga what do you call this? Meron din siyang mga TVs na lesser known na mga TV appearances later on. I think NCIS was one of them.
Daytime drama and
Yes.
yung mga midday broadcast in the USA. Yes. Usually that's what we're talking about it, di ba? Parang usually doon sila pupunta when the perk of being Miss USA is you get the entertainment really well.
And what I like about yung message ng kanyang pageant journey is that you might not win the title, but that doesn't mean that you cannot have a successful career later on. Halle Berry is, one of the
Vanessa Williams even. Right?
Exactly. One of the best examples for that. Michelle Pfeiffer. She didn't even win a state title at Miss California. Semi-finalist nga lang siya sa Miss California in the 1970s. Pero later on, she got a very good Hollywood career na tipong multiple Oscar nominations. Yeah. And Michelle had supermodels. And Michelle had really good Oscar-winning movies after that. So that's why for me, Kelly was one of those sayang, pero she made a mark despite what happened, hindi siya nanalo. And I think siguro had she won the Miss USA that year, marami siya pwedeng dalhin sa Miss Universe na competition in terms of what is it like to be the first Asian American Miss USA winner.
That would have been a bold statement.
Yeah, but of course, things happen, and that's why siguro it was just her destiny na hanggang doon na lang siya. But even so, I think later on, she was invited to judge Miss USA or Miss USA later on in the 2000s, I think.
Really, really good. Naku, delikado talaga yung mga margin na yan because Philippines has been a victim also of the small margin placement. You know what, Abi Alex in 1997, hindi na rin siya Alangao in 2000. Talagang delikado. Oo, imagine, hairline.
Very narrow. And that's why I think siguro in the 90s, unlike kasi in the 2000s, sa 2000s na uso yung top 15 in the 90s, from top 12, ginawang top 10 lang. Mas lalong patayan kung sino makakapasok sa semis.
Sakit. A lot of girls has been wasted. Sayang talaga. Sayang na sayang yung mga ganong era. Kaya girls of these days are lucky, especially the ones that competed this year, 21. Hello, more chances of winning. Diba?
Exactly.
2006 also went up 20 sila eh. So talagang very, very lucky yung may mga malalaking margin of placements rather than the years of 90s and 2000s.
Exactly.
But what if ibalik na Miss Universe, that would be crazy. A lot of girls would be crushed.
A lot of girls would kill for a position, for a spot at the top 10.
But it's really, really good. And because of that, on my number 2 is one of the girls who aced that format. I mean, I think she's the first black girl to win Miss Universe in 90s. Magkasunod din, back to black ang usapan nun. But she's the first one. And I love her so much. Wendy Fitzwilliam from Trinidad and Tobago. Simply because when you speak of elegance, that's her.
Yeah.
On white. All white, clean, clear. The precision of her conversation, the way she answered the questions, the way she walks in light to the stage, and the way she lived her life after that.
Yeah.
It says so much about her. You know what? I remember E made the film about it's a short special program about Miss Universe 1990. 8. And it's like a film type documentary about her and how she won. It really, really stunned me because she was able to address a lot of issues about women owning up the stage. Because at the time, 90s is the time when women is trying to revolutionize the concept of breaking the glass ceiling. And
Yeah.
especially for women of color, it's not easy. I mean, we've seen a lot of pageants that does not give proper platform or effort for them to be recognized. And she, winning the title, actually stood up the ground and said to a lot of women, hey, we can do this. So much so, people from cultural backgrounds like mine. So that sent a strong message across. And I think a lot of people does not forget about her. Up to this very day, a lot of people are looking towards her legacy, and the way she conquered that night. You know, when I hear song All My Life with Casey and Jojo, I was always reminded of that. The way she put on her stole, glides on the stage, and answered her question gracefully. You know, I think the question was, what would you tell a girl who just woken up from very for how many years? Something like that. And the way she answered that question, that we used to have a clean, good earth, a really good earth, that really resonated.
And I remember her in the opening of the Miss Universe 1999 pageant, where she said, blah blah blah, of countries, of number of women from different countries competing for my round. It was like, right? Diba?
The woman who did a final walk without actually having a final speech. She was singing to Siade, walking to the stage. I mean, girl, could you get any better than that? I mean,
Yeah.
she's such a revolutionary. She's leaving the decade. She knows she needs to make an impact, and so she did. So, Wendy, good job.
Yeah, and when I met her in Las Vegas, I believe in 2017, nagpa-picture talaga ako sa kanya because I was like, shit, this is the last time I probably am going to meet her in person. Might as well take the opportunity. Diba? Kasi ako din ang merong bodyguard na nandyan. Talagang nakipag-persuhan ako just to take a photo with her. And you know, she was very accommodating. And for someone na fan lang, syempre, ang mga nakapaligid sa kanya na laki ng katawan, di ba? And for someone na Asian na maliit, na hindi mo mapapansin pag magdadaanan mo, she was very graceful in the way she interacted. And she actually, you know, nag-mention ng me para lang medyo magkahit kami ng konti kasi napansin niya na nakatingkayat na ako. So I think that's one of the reasons why she is arguably one of the most classiest Miss Universe winners that we've ever seen.
Hello, yes, yes, and yes, totoo. When you talk about class, siya talaga, kasi she doesn't do anything unnecessary. She just stands there. All she ever has to do was to be there, stand there, and do her thing, and exist.
Yeah.
Diba? It's just so sad that Tobago lost into oblivion in the world of pageantry. I really hope they come back strong because ang galing. I mean, diba? She's
Yeah.
there.
And I remember whenever Paula Andrea said that, you know, a Miss Universe should like walk into the room and then everybody notices that she's Miss Universe. That's Wendy Fitzwilliam.
That's Wendy. That's Wendy. Galing talaga. Sobrang talaga si Wendy. Alam mo, a lot of people in the Philippines would take notice, but Wendy is really, really good. She's one of the best.
Yeah. On second on my list, it's actually a victim of politics. During that time, when Venezuela would send their secondary winner, meaning place number 2 in this world pageant, from 1997 to 1998, they would always miss the cut. And during that time, dito nag-umpisa yung notion na Eric Morley said that if you're not gonna send me your main winner, I'm gonna
Oh my
give you
God,
a
yes.
by not letting you make it in the
We
semis.
were talking about this girl the other day. Totoo. Oh my
Yes.
God.
That's why
Heartbreaking.
number 2 on my list is Martina Thorogood of Venezuela. She, for me, alongside Carolina Iszak, is the most beautiful Miss Venezuela ever been crowned.
Point.
Bar none. None of the current winners from 2000 to 2021 would actually go head to head in terms of face, in terms of magnetism, in terms of presence, in terms of sheer beauty when it comes to I think the only girl na pwedeng tumalo sa kanya is Carolina Iszak. And Carolina Iszak is, I mean, Diyosa, hindi na natin maano yan. Hindi na natin
On
itatanggi
the
yun.
brunette level. Because for me, I think one of the girls din from Venezuela that actually made an impact, si Evalisa Leong of the 80s. Iba rin yung dating niya, no? Very Hollywood actress. Pero through Carolina Iszak and Martina Thorogood was
When they
nakakainis. Wala yung pageant noon, may isip ko, no? Sana,
Yes.
sana.
And what is so, what is so frustrating about Martina's placement, because she ended up as first runner-up to Yuktamo Kuki of India in Miss World 1999, was that she could have been sent to Miss Universe, but because of her placement as a first runner-up, hindi siya ngayon pinadala ng Miss Venezuela, or because may mga nag-complain ng mga national directors during the Miss Universe, saying that it is an unfair advantage that she has the title, that she was a runner-up, and for her to join Miss Universe. Because kung sumali si Martina sa Miss Universe, definitely sa kanya na yung title, at least in my opinion. Ganun siya
Miriam Kiambao. I'm sure Miriam will still be way up there, but Martina Thorogood would definitely clinch that. Or even in, she was supposed to compete in 2000.
2000, yes.
Versus Lara Dota. Oh my God, imagine. Lara and Martina.
Right. And the thing there was that, with Martina's placement, napaka-heartbreaking nung nangyari, because what happened after that, kasi may aftermath pa hindi yung tipong, okay, hindi ka makapag-compete, then okay na, you just send the first runner-up and you compete for the universe. Biglang umanmay itong si Donald Trump na, no, I'm not gonna expect, I'm not gonna allow anyone who is not the main title holder to compete in my pageant. So parang isang maliit na problema na nagsanga-sanga, and then later on, Osmel had to have another pageant para lang makahanap ng representative for this universe. And the heartbreaking part of that was that Claudia Moreno, who was crowned Miss Republica Bolivariana Venezuela, admitted that treatment between her and a Miss Venezuela winner was different. And she said that, I know that I am not a Miss Venezuela winner. So, parang ang heartbreaking din for her that she was first runner-up in Miss Universe, but the treatment was not equal in terms of importance.
So, imagine if it was Martina. Oh my God, ang saya-saya.
And imagine, Lara Duda and Martina having head-to-head in the Miss Universe. Parang, chef, who are you going with? Lara Duda was like perfection, but Martina would also bring a different dimension into the competition, where presence, nandun, ganda, nandun. She's also bilingual. She can speak two languages. She could have speak English in interviews. I love being kabulabog, mag-aano ang balance sa titupan with the two of those girls.
Official shampoo sponsor will definitely put their money on Martina, for sure, I would know. Because ganun siya. She has the commercial value. She has the force to actually catapult her towards commercial success. Really, really good. Sayang talaga si Martina. Martina was one gem. I wonder what she's doing now. Kung ano nang ganap niya sa Venezuela. Pero she lives in the mind of all pageant fans up to this very day.
Yeah, and I think she had a quiet family life after her win. And I think yun, she's just basically very private kasi siya, na even yung kanyang Instagram account it's set on private, and hindi siya basta-basta nag-a-add ng mga tao. I've tried following her sa official Instagram account niya, pero she was just private, and we should respect it naman na she's not a public personality anymore, so let's allow her privacy. And one of the things that I find interesting was that during her time there was a rumor that she was actually 27 years old, and that as well, doctored her age to make it 24 daw. So, parang alam yun, ang daming conspiracy theory.
It also did
That,
that conspiracy in 1987. Sorry, there's a Miss Venezuela, Yadira Jaira, who actually a lot of people thought na she was older down than her age, and then but this is just crazy. I mean, Miss Universe is an organization that has strict screening policy, and I'm pretty sure mahirap kalusudin yun. So
yeah. So anyway, it's one of those. It's one of those, cheese feasts during that time. You cannot it adds, it adds enigma, it adds more mystery and interest to the subject at hand, di ba?
totoo.
Okay, so it's time na to reveal our number one.
May feeling ako pareho tayo na number one.
Okay. Sige, you go first.
First clue, I don't know kung tama. From the neighboring country of Martina. Okay. Okay. To me, when the pageant was held here in '94, sobra. Shoot to the roof. Everybody's crazy. Up to this very day, Canal Resene would interview her in Bogota or Cartagena or wherever she is in Colombia, just to discuss her point of view regarding the pageant or Colombian pop culture in general. So I think this woman really deserves the spot. Kasi talagang she's equally worthy of wearing that Sarah Coventry crown that was battled here. A lot of people are crazy over here. A politician is crazy about her. And he deserves a spot. Carolina Gomez of Colombia is my number one. Queen of the 90s. One of the highest evening gown scores. You have written about her a lot. Totoo, she's so good. She presented her well, so strong. I mean, I wouldn't bother myself. It's between Sushmita and her, but she really, really deserves all the recognition she could get. I think she's the third greatest heartbreak on successive heartbreaks that Colombia had from '92 to '94. She was the most painful for any pageant fans because people thought she's gonna take home the title.
Yeah. She's also number one on my list.
Hindi po kami nag-usap, guys. There, hindi po kami nag-usap ni Jess. This is just us.
Yes, we didn't share our list. Para magkaliwanagan, we didn't share our list. And what was heartbreaking with Carolina's first runner-up placement was that from 1992, 93, and 94, Colombia won a back-to-back first runner-up placement. And during that time, we didn't have a back-to-back winning supers. That is the closest we'll ever get.
That's that equates the Venezuela back-to-back winning in 2008, 2009. That's also the same impact. Imagine being so denied. Come on, what's wrong with Colombians? So I mean, Colombians would be very, very angered, I'd say. I mean, they have every single right to be mad about the situation, if that is, because that's a lot of things that they've always wanted. And at that time, iba yung price package for a winning Miss Colombia. You're tax-free for life, you have mansion, everything that Luz Marina Zuluaga has, a lot of girls are waiting for them to have it.
Yes.
So talaga, it's really
And I think the reason why a lot of pageant fans fell in love with Carolina was yung reaction niya when Sushmita won. It was like, dang, parang siya din yung nanalo, di ba? Parang it was like she was very sportsmanly to accept that she was first runner-up. But the reaction was that she was so genuinely happy for somebody else to win the title. Yeah, and I noticed as well during the time that kasi before they didn't have like the noise cancellation headphones, right? So what they did was they have a soundproof booth, and Minorka was the first one to answer the question at the Q&A, and then the two girls were in the soundproof booth. And makikita mo doon na they were so genuinely happy, nagyayakpan sila na parang I cannot believe they made it that far in the competition. So it was like so surreal na, shit, sila pala yung mag-final two, no? And then it was like both girls won that night.
It was winning. I mean, she felt she won, and she did. Her countrymen never fell short in showing her that she deserved that spot. The celebration was country so strong. This very day, ang ganda-ganda pa rin niya. She still speak with elegance and strength that she used to conduct herself with in 1994, 94 or 2021, none the different. Still is one of the best Colombian Miss Universe that Colombia never had, or we never had.
Yeah.
He deserved. Come on. Ano,
I think if there was a possibility for two girls to share the Miss Universe crown, it would have been Sushmita and Carolina.
That would have been easy. So Sushmita would have been gracious, I think, for that because she's very, very kind of her as well. I mean, 1994 is one of the kindest batch ever. Wala masyadong binigay doon. So talaga nakakatuwa that this very day we still remember them as such. The dress is preserved really, really well. It's one of a kind. Walang
and you know what? There's a tidbit on Carolina's dress because as I was doing research for one of my fashion classes, I found a Gianfranco design that was the inspiration for Carolina Gomez's gown for the finals. The difference was that it was the same silhouette, but the difference was the figure on Carolina's dress. So, Irene, you have also to give it to the Colombian designers when it comes to pageant gowns that they always deliver.
I think it is the catalyst. Okay, a little bit of chichi that everybody doesn't know. I think so. This is around 1994, and 1994 was a pivotal year in BPCI when Filipino designers started having issues working with organization because of building and camping the gowns and the girls in the competition. So I think because of the successive creations at Alfredo Barasa, because the dress was a Barasa creation, right? So that also was pivotal on Madame Stella's decision to actually take on his designs from 2000 onwards, so that there's standardized. If only it was patterned towards Filipino women rather than Colombian women and forcing it on Filipino girls, that would work really, really well. Some of her creations is actually ahead of its time, and Carolina's was one of those.
Yeah.
But you can wear it today. You could slay the company.
I think it's a timeless design, and even if you wear that, even a variation of that, it will still work in pageants. So there, we completed our list, and it's so it's so surprising that we have the same girl on top of our list.
Oh, I think a lot of people would think so, especially those who lived that time, because the impact she left. Especially tayo, we're in the Philippines, we know some of the stories about her. There's some clippings, but for people there, I'm only 4 years old when that competition happened here. But a lot of my parents and family members would continue to talk about her moving forward. I mean, and Sushmita, because me being half Indian would say, oh, Sushmita Sen, ganyan, ganyan. So there's a lot of people connecting that conversation. So they became standards of beauty. And that, you won with or without crown. So, congratulations.
Yes, and then we're finished with our list. And thank you
so much for having
wonderful, time with you and discussing all these pageant stuff with you. Because aminin natin, if we're going to have a conversation about the 90s mga pageant queens, it has to be with people who are familiar with the decade, grew up in watching pageants in that decade. Kasi if we're going to have this conversation with younger pageant admins, hindi makasabay, hindi relate, how these women really created an impact that up to this day, up to this point in time, relevant pa din sa conversation of pageantry. And I think that the 90s role models in terms of the type of beauty queens that we should be looking forward to in this modern era, because they set a standard that you can be beautiful and at the same time you can be smart and very, outspoken and very selfless in your chosen advocacy and your chosen causes.
True, true, and true. And you know what? For us to appreciate, especially the new pageant fan generation, who just recently joined in the bandwagon as of late because of the success of the Philippines and in the arena, should understand too that for once in our lives, we are following a different standard that's far difficult than it is today. You cannot approach queens as easily. You just can't defend them or troll them in that effect because of the lack of social media and accessibility. And today that we can do that can also give us a point of view na, oh, nung araw nga, we cannot do this. So now that we're able to do this, we should do this for the better and to promote the greater good in the competition in the entire pageant sphere in general. So I think it's really, really important to look back, no, to these icons and role models back in the day to know where we're going to propel ourselves and where we stood once in this world.
Yes, I agree. And with that being said, thank you, Mark, for joining us in this conversation, and thank you to our friends in and our followers in YouTube for staying thus far. This is a very long conversation, but I can say wholeheartedly that I enjoyed every minute of this topic, because it really is something that we are so passionate about.